Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Brimstone Coaching Podcast. My name is Kurt Busch. I am co founder and coach here at the Brimstone Coaching Group. I'm here with my friend and the other half of the co founder title, Chris Godfredson. How are you today, Chris?
Doing really well, Kurt.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for having me on.
Well, I thought you had me on.
Oh, no, I don't think so. This is going to be fun today.
Yeah, this is going to be fun today. Yes. We are going to talk through a little bit this idea that we live in a time where overwhelm and exhaustion are sort of I want to use the word ubiquitous, but sometimes you make fun of me when
Yeah,
I use that word, so I'm not going to do that.
I
It's
do.
well, loosely.
Yeah.
My make fun of is a pretty low bar. But ubiquitous is kind of a big word, and I just like it because of the Q. I like words that have Q's in them. It's fun to say. Anyway,
That's right.
overwhelm and exhaustion are
Yeah.
prevalent
Yeah.
in our spaces and places. I'm really present to the time that I find myself in this
Mhm.
podcast, Chris. You don't live in the same community that I live in, but there is a festival coming up, a community festival coming up at the end of this week that is going to
Yes.
fill my plate, mostly in good ways, but it will
hmm
fill my family's plate.
Mm.
So that's true for me, but I think what's true for a lot of people is that spring is the time where things start to get busy and graduations have been happening
Yes, they
and
have.
all of those things. It's wedding season.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Yes.
all the things. So right here in May is when we start to get a little more busy. So we thought maybe today's a good time to talk about overwhelm and exhaustion.
Mhm.
When I say that overwhelm and exhaustion are prevalent, do you want to push on that at all, or you want to affirm that? What would you do with that?
I think I would affirm that, right? Um, yeah, I think people are moving at breakneck speeds and we just cannot add. I mean, if we could keep adding to our calendars, I think we would, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, and when you say, and I don't even want to say necessarily that it's, yeah, that it's good or bad or right or wrong. And to your
yeah,
point, that it is ubiquitous. It just is that
yeah.
we're busy, and the way that people deal with busy is different.
Yeah.
In my
I think,
household, the way I deal with being busy and having a lot to do, and the way my spouse or my children who don't even live in my house anymore, but when I talk to them and I hear how they are navigating all these things, everybody's different.
yeah, yeah.
And the degree or the time at which it forces us to overwhelm, uh, that varies. Yeah.
That's really good. I think you made a really important distinction right off the bat here when you
Mm.
said busy, you implied busyness is not automatically overwhelm or
hmm
exhaustion, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a temptation to look at our own schedules, or if we're honest, the schedules of others,
Yeah.
and
Right.
attach an overwhelm or too busy or exhausted tag to it. But but full calendar does not automatically mean that we're feeling overwhelmed or exhausted, right?
Correct. I agree with that. And the thing I think for me, when I think about overwhelm in this context, in this conversation, it's really when I'm spiraling or I'm spinning out of control or I'm reacting and behaving in ways that aren't true to the way I desire to show up in the world. So
Yeah.
I get to overwhelm, and then I do the things that aren't from my best thinking and result in me behaving in ways that are, yeah, just not aligned with how I want to be.
Yeah. 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 Would you be willing to say more like practically what that looks like? You talked about, overwhelm happening when you don't or can't or aren't able to show up in the ways that are most aligned with your truest selves or your truest self that then causes
Yep.
these other kind of patterns of showing up. Like what does that mean? Like what does that look like for
Mm.
you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks like for me getting home at the end of the day spent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there are days when my wife is, she works hard, but some days she's home and she hasn't had the conversations during the day, or her needs are different than mine, and she wants to talk about things that happened in the course of the day, or things she heard, or she wonders what I have done. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so then I withdraw, I pull back. I just like, I can't ask for what I want. And then we'll
Yeah.
have our evening meal together. You might call it supper, other people call it dinner. I don't know where in the world people are and how they're listening, what they name the evening meal, but we'll have that. And we have a dishwasher, and then I'll go to the dishwasher, and we also have a 100-pound Bernese Mountain Dog who then wants to get in there. And then I feel like when I'm at overwhelm, when I've had more than I can deal with, and I'm at the end of my metaphorical rope, then I want to kick the dog. I
Yeah.
have never kicked the dog, but that's what I feel like. Like I just all of a sudden I snap, I'm short, I'm not like
Yeah.
who I generally am. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not this jovial, rah, rah, rah person all the time. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
it. I laugh and have a good time, but I'm more on the stoic side of things, I suspect. But like my anger is right there beneath the surface when I'm at the end of my rope, when overwhelm is
Yeah.
alive. Yeah, and then like I have to think really hard about the counter systems to not staying in that place.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah. So here's a real life example that just kind of bubbled up. So last week, I'm going to be vulnerable with the listeners for just a second.
Mm.
My wife and I are doing a thing called Dutch dancing at this community festival coming up, and I wondered how long it was going to take you to laugh. It was that was much longer. Like if there was an
Well,
over under to how quickly you would have laughed, I would have
I
lost
held
because
it
I thought it
in.
was way sooner.
I held it in.
Well, so the thing with this is like there are practices. So we don't know how to do this. It's the first time we've ever done it. So we're learning how to do this. And it's every Monday night at 6 o'clock or six. I honestly don't remember. Like our Mondays are busy. We just kind of show up, right? It's either 6 or 6:30, whatever. So last week, um, we are getting ready to do this. I had worked a little later than normal. My wife had worked a little bit later than normal. And we get home and we're maybe getting ready to grab a quick bite to eat. I have a kid that's working in a neighboring community, has to drive home, get to baseball practice, right? But he can do this all himself. Well, he calls and he says, "Oh, I remember what it was. Amber and I were out on a walk. We were walking
Mm.
the dog,
Mhm.
20 minutes from our house. Our son, who has to get home to get to baseball practice, calls and says, 'I'm on the side of the road. My car broke down.
No.
What do I do?'" Well, shoot. Now not only do I have to figure out what to do with this car,
Mhm.
I've got like I'm trying to diagnose the car in my head, but I've got to get him to baseball practice. I've got to get
Yep.
us to Dutch dancing practice. Oh, and I have another kid at home that's going to need to eat at some point, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And we're 20 minutes from home, so we're going to be late to all those things because we're out on a walk and we can't get there. So for me, it went to overwhelm because I lost what I felt like was control and agency.
Yes.
I felt like that moment was driving me.
Mm.
And,
Yeah.
and on some level it was like on some level it was
Yeah.
coming at me and I needed to like take what was coming at me.
Yeah.
But it felt like there were too many balls in the air that I was going to drop all of them. And then I just kind of wanted to shut down,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
like I kind of wanted to just not think about how I'm going to get this kid to baseball practice. I wanted to let one of the balls drop instead of kind of
Yeah.
making the
Forget all of it
yeah,
even, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think for me, overwhelm, exhaustion, one of the things that can get me there is a feeling like I'm a passenger, um, not so much a driver of life.
Yeah, and that's an interesting comment for me because here's one of the things I mean, I thought that one of the things you said was pretty astute. It's good for the listener to be paying attention to. Sometimes it's the things that other people do or circumstances we find ourselves in that
Yeah,
create the overwhelm
yeah,
or the
yeah,
exhaustion. Then there's also times where we we decide we are going to Dutch dance and there's this festival coming and we do this to ourselves
yeah, yeah.
to a degree,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But so understanding, hey, we have this window, this margin where we can go for a walk. This is some time we can carve out for ourselves. And then life happens for your
Yeah,
son. And
yeah,
now everything is uh, topsy-turvy, disequilibrium is alive,
yeah,
and
yeah.
now here you go. So, like, how do you manage that? How did you deal?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. And I might even say, I talk about like losing control and agency, and like I don't even know if I like those words. I mean, what do I have control of? I still have agency.
Yeah,
I think it's the feeling of those. It's the experience of
100%.
those.
Yeah,
But I think in that moment, I mean, having done the work that I've done, my initial response was like chaos crisis, right? It was, oh my gosh, the world's on fire, and
yeah.
and I think
What
what happened was,
more, right? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. If this was 24 hours later, this is this is nearly a non-issue when nothing else is going
Well,
on. But I think what worked was the ability to take a breath, to be able to ask, okay, what do I need to do right now? Like, what is the next practical thing that I need to do?
yes.
And that really was it. Was it chaotic? Yes. Did we make our kid late for baseball? Yeah. Is that the end of the world? No. Things happen, right? So
Yeah.
I think what helped me was I do have agency. I do need to respond, right? This is some of that acute anxiety that we talk about sometimes.
Yes,
Like there
sir.
was something that needed my attention,
Yeah.
and I think what was true is that I could get into action for one thing, right?
Yep.
Can't solve them all right now. Can't fix the car. Can't do all the things, but I can hop in my car and go look at it on the side of the road, right? I can
Mhm.
do those. I can do that thing, and then I'll
Sure.
make another decision when I know what's going on, right? I can make steps and make the next decision that needs to be made towards a solution.
Yeah. Yep. It's really good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, I think you bring up an interesting point about the difference between circumstances causing us to feel overwhelmed and like our pushing against margin or our lack. I don't like saying lack of margin. It feels a little more shamey than I want it to sound, but
Yeah.
um what would you say about those distinctions in your own life? Like how do you experience those? Do you have a gut reaction like when I say external circumstances that cause you to be overwhelmed or your own margins? Like, is there one of those that's more alive in you?
Yeah, I would say for me, I think that the external forces uh, almost always are the things that create the overwhelm for me.
Yeah,
Because like my pain tolerance is really high. My my
yeah,
my I can run off the page for a long time
yeah,
because I also like I'm busy and I do things. I do a lot of things a lot of time. And I
yeah,
also can carve out windows of time to chill and Sabbath or relax and think about how I am going. But like I don't need as much margin as somebody else. And so then the
yeah,
perception, right, is well, I'm just getting parts of you, or I don't have you all the time, or yeah, you just have to be doing and doing and doing. And like my
yeah,
doing is different than another's doing,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
what other people do. I was talking to a colleague today, and like have his graduation's coming and still has another kid at home and all of the things every night. I don't have all those
Yeah.
responsibilities that I had when my children were home and we were in gymnasiums 4 nights a week and all day Saturday
Yeah.
in like it was insanity.
Yeah.
And I was still doing those things. So I feel like the pace is a lot is slower and more manageable where I do
Yeah.
have some downtime, but um, to get to a place where I think where I understand myself enough where I know the threshold, what where the threshold is and what the where the line is
Yeah.
before I'm going to be completely depleted and exhausted. Like I haven't crossed that line for a while where I went so long and so hard that I wound up sick.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that in a minute or two, but that would
Yeah.
used to be what would happen. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't I don't know that I even knew that overwhelm was a thing when this was happening in my life. I would just keep
Yeah.
charging and charging and charging, and I worked and
Yeah.
I went hard for long hours for extended period of times, and then I would just fall in a heap, and I
Yeah.
would literally just work myself to exhaustion, and
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. And some of it is
Yeah.
circumstances, some of it is I know where the line is now. And
Yeah.
it's not for my flourishing or anybody near me.
Yeah.
Because then I do what I do, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yep.
I mean, I think you said two things that I want to like pull out. Can I do that?
Yeah.
I think number one, you said no, you know your line.
Hmm.
I think so. What's true is I am a lower functioner than some from some leaders, right? I know some leaders that are maybe the highest functioning people I've ever met, and I am
Yep.
not. And there was a time where I was not okay with being a lower functioner, and by lower I mean like I would say my plate isn't as big, right?
Yeah.
Like in your line analogy, I would say I hit my line before they hit their line.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and there was a long time where I felt like that made me a bad leader,
Yeah.
or that made me a weak
Mm.
human.
Yep.
So I maybe just want to affirm what you said. Everybody's line is different, and that's okay. Um, thanks for naming that.
Yeah. Well,
Um, the other thing you said, oh, see, now I'm gonna lose my,
dang it.
dang it. Oh, got it.
What's the other
Um,
thing?
here's the other thing. You said you didn't even know you were overwhelmed. I think you you named like this is the norm. I think we just expect this is how we should feel. Like
Right.
this is what it should feel like
Yeah.
to be an
Yep.
adult in 2025.
Yep.
D-
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to say more about like, no, this isn't what we are designed to feel
Well,
like?
no, I don't think it is what we're designed to think and feel. And my perspective on this is, I think, has morphed and changed over time. And maybe it's age, maybe it's my inability to go as fast as I once did. I don't know exactly what it is. I want to say that it's my best thinking, right? That there is another way. There is
Yeah.
a preferred way that I think humanity can and ought to be in in the world in which we live. But
Yeah.
this is, I mean, it's unique to every human being, right? It's unique to every
Yeah.
person. I think I'm clear about that, in that the way people spend their time uh, and how they go about meeting their needs, because I think this is often needs driven behavior. I have a
Yeah.
need to feel successful, to feel
Hmm.
wanted, needed, uh, empowered, whatever
Yeah.
need it is that's needing being met. This is what the striving, performing, achieving is all about.
Yeah.
And so those things lead us down paths that uh, probably aren't what we would do with our best thinking. So
Yeah.
and somehow I've forgotten the question.
It's okay. I mean, I think you just said some gold there. So I'm gonna let that be. I think maybe let's take a little break. And then maybe we'll come back and talk through some practical steps to how to think about combating some of this. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, I like the way you said that. Maybe we'll come back and maybe we won't.
I guess the listener will just have to see.
Yeah, right. Hang with us. We'll find out.
What if the biggest thing holding you back isn't the challenge in front of you, but the promises that you've made to yourself? At Brimstone Coaching Group, we help teams, businesses, and organizations break through hidden barriers in our Promises Workshop. This is a hands on experience that helps you and your team identify and replace self limiting beliefs with purposeful promises that foster growth, confidence, and resilience. You can bring this powerful workshop to your company, nonprofit, or leadership team and start creating a culture of trust, collaboration, and transformation. Visit brimstonecoachinggroup.com to learn more. Welcome back, everybody. We did, in fact, come back.
We did.
Um,
I'm glad we
the,
did.
there was very little conversation about not coming back, but here we are. Chris, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You said earlier, sometimes after a day that's filled with busy, filled with things right up to the brim, you come home, you eat supper. I'm gonna say supper to me.
Okay.
You get to the dishwasher and your 100-pound Bernese Mountain Dog is there, and you said, overwhelmed. You maybe want to kick the dog that you've definitely never kicked before, just for any sensitive ears. There's no dog kicking
Yep.
going on, but
No dog kicking. Yeah.
metaphorically, you want to kick the dog. What do you do? Like, how can you be in that moment, be present to it, notice it, and take a step away from what you might normally do?
Yeah, I think after my wife corrects me, as she should, right? I literally now I get to the place where I can take a breath and let it rest there.
Yeah.
And I think about what is happening right now. Do you really want to do this? Is this how you want to be? And like we have this transformational equation that says encounters plus reflection equal transformation. So if I can have that encounter in the moment and say, oh, what am I doing? And I
Hmm.
think about, why are you so short right now? Is the dog really the problem? What's the problem here? Why are
Yeah.
you so short? Why are you so frustrated, frazzled, exhausted? What's happening? And is the pathway forward, like is this how you want to behave?
Mm.
I think the power of the equation in the moment is like it stops me when I remember, oh, ask yourself the question
Yeah.
after this, what is going on?
Yeah.
This isn't this isn't how you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I'll ask the question, what's going on? It's that simple, right?
Yeah.
I don't ask a lot of times I'll say, what's the threat? And
Yeah.
there's no threat. Maybe, maybe there is a threat, but in real time, I'll just, is this
Yeah.
what you want to do right now? What's going on, buddy? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I can get up to the balcony and
Yeah.
ask myself more questions if I need to, or I'll just say, you know what, I'm going to take a break and I'll be back to dry those dishes or finish cleaning this up in a minute.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I do that, things go much better. When I don't want the correction, or I choose to engage, uh, things that is that is the stuff I do in overwhelm.
Yeah. Yeah. You say all the time, and I just want to I want to say it again because I think it really fits here. You say all the time that once we see something, we can't unsee it. And I
Hmm.
think that is so valuable in this equation, in this example that you're talking about, where the reflection allows you to say, what is going on? What am I doing? And now you know. And
Yeah.
I think there are times where overwhelm might meet the level where you'd say, you know what? No, I want to metaphorically kick the dog. But
Yeah.
I think most times th there's an ability to realize, yeah, I don't want this, right?
Yeah. I mean, that I'm sure. And so we all get to overwhelm differently. We all
Yeah.
experience it differently, right?
Hmm.
So it's possible uh, that there are times when I am in that state and I'm unaware.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also times, the where the dishwasher example is a pretty, I don't know, pretty mild one. I think it's one that everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
So that's why I use it. But there probably are times where I'm unaware and I can't stop it, and then
Yeah.
I engage the behavior. But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
that there's anything more I can say at the moment about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I think I'd be giving a false impression if I didn't also say that there are times where I do see it and I think, nope, I am at the level where I just am going to do the thing.
Yeah, and I
Cause
ask
dang it.
ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah, cause dang it,
Maybe,
this I do want to
or
do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
we're always pretty honest about this because here's the problem, right? I think the expectation is perfection. We're
Yes.
just not going to do it perfectly. So there are
Yes.
times when we just give in. And here's the question, is that ubiquitous?
Mm, mm, that's a good question. How would you answer it?
I don't know that it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it depends on, well, for me, I'll speak for me. It depends on how far I go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but if I just, you know, get angry, I don't think anger's wrong. What
No.
I do with the anger
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
be right or wrong, right?
Right.
So
Right.
this is where I would draw the line and uh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is maybe a peripheral, but I think the reality is like anger or any other of these emotions that sometimes get labeled bad are not bad. They just
Mm,
are. But I think in a place of overwhelm and exhaustion, then we just allow them to drive the bus, right?
yeah.
In ways that are not our best thinking or not even honoring to those emotions, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Um, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think the thing for me then is can we in real time just get to the place to go, okay, what do I need right now?
Hmm. Hmm.
Why am I doing this? And I mean that I think that this is the way. And then like maybe the antidote, if you will, is to take a little rest, get some rest if you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask for what you need when
Yeah.
you are feeling exhausted or when overwhelm is alive in you.
Yeah.
Is there anything wrong with
Yeah.
asking or just taking the time to rest?
I think that's a great word. I mean, I would answer the question and say, no, there is nothing wrong. I think we live in a culture that says that's pretty selfish.
Exactly.
Uh,
And is that
but
actually selfish?
no, no. I think with all of this I think the myth is if we just continue to push and be more exhausted and more overwhelmed, that we're actually like making progress.
Yeah,
That if I stop to take a rest, I'm going to get further and further behind. And I'm going to get buried and all. And maybe on some level,
maybe,
yes, but I actually think that a stop and rest, if it's like a Sunday afternoon nap, maybe it's a Saturday afternoon, maybe it's a Monday afternoon nap. or
Hey.
maybe it's a walk on a trail. Like I don't know what it
Mhm.
is for people,
Yeah.
but I actually think that rest actually makes us or empowers us and equips us to be better present in those places that we need to be really present and not
Long-term
overwhelmed.
productivity will increase if
Yes,
we
yes.
work from a place of rest, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What else do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I still probably struggle with, but I want to put it in the space to say I'm working at it and I want to invite our listeners to work at it is to do something that you enjoy doing. Do
Mm-hmm.
something that's fun.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
there is something about fun and enjoyment that I think does something to our being.
Yeah.
Um, I had a conversation with somebody the other day. I was listening to a podcast that made me laugh out loud.
Mm. Yeah,
There is something cathartic about laughing out loud.
for
Um,
sure.
so I think the invitation would be find something that you just love to do. Maybe it's getting on a bike, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Maybe it's listening to a baseball game. Maybe it's gardening or pulling
I
weeds
used to
or
love baseball games.
too soon,
Now two
too soon.
years in a row, my team is terrible. So that leads me to exhaustion almost faster than anything anymore. Anyway, sorry, squirrel.
Yeah, my bad. Too soon. I didn't mean to
It's
hit an
okay.
open
Well, I
wound.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think again, like I've struggled with this in the past to think, boy, that feels pretty selfish. Like there's a lot going on. How can I even dare to think about doing something that's fun for me? But I do think there just is something. I don't know the neuroscience behind it, but I think there is something that is really important about doing something that makes us feel enjoyment or fun or laughter, or gives us life, if you will.
Yeah. And I would say this that I don't think that you can skirt all your responsibilities and have fun all the time. I mean,
Right.
that's not what you
Right.
just said. I
Nope.
mean, when you're at a place of overwhelm, when you're exhausted, maybe it's just healthy to say, you know, as business partners, is like, Kurt, I don't have time for that tonight. I'm gonna do something that's kind of fun instead. Is that okay with you? And then you can respond the way you want, and I'll say, "Good, thanks for sharing that. I'm gonna do it anyway," or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
but if
Yeah.
if I'm unwilling to ask for what I need to to make and take the time to enjoy some things in my life, I become a dull boy,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
will, right? I mean,
Yep.
all work and no play is not helpful.
Yep. Yep. And
Play,
nobody else is going to give it to you, right?
no,
Nobody
it's
else is going to give it to me.
no,
I think you and I are in a unique position where we might occasionally ask each other, "Hey, what are you going to do?" Or "Are you going to do that?" Or whatever. But
yeah,
I think in most areas of life, no one is going to give us the things we need. We need to name what we need and ask for what we need, even
yeah,
if it's rest or enjoyment.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. I mean, what else do you want to say, Chris?
I don't know. I think there's some times where I just need to be outdoors.
Yeah.
And just being outside, like, I mean, and I want to say this, like we spent almost an entire day. It felt like 3 weeks one day, uh, cleaning up all the debris from fall and winter. And
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, yeah, that isn't always great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do like to be outside on my deck. I do like to sometimes mow my lawn.
Yeah.
Not all the times, but sometimes I still enjoy that. And it's just, can I be outside and let my mind run? Can I think about things that I'm observing in the world and give thought to it? And
Yeah. Yeah.
and that for me is there's a level of relaxation and being cathartic that is
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
It's not exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I tell you something I'm trying here in the last
Yeah,
couple
let's
weeks?
let's hear it.
So I'm not like a nature dude. I really like I don't hunt, I don't fish.
Me either.
I'm not a camper. Like I don't really I don't love the outdoors per se. Like some people love the
Yeah.
outdoors. Um, However, like I do understand there is something in me that like as a created being, I need to be outdoors, right? There is
Mm-hmm.
something to that.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so I was walking the other day on this trail. It I don't know what kind of it's like a gravelly kind of trail.
Yeah.
It runs kind of along the town I live in, but it's far enough away from the highway where it's quiet. And it's just surrounded by trees. Like it
Yeah.
goes through the woods. And I realize like I'm always like when I'm walking or mowing the yard or whatever I'm doing, I'm always like kind of looking down. You know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's like my body's stuck in this phone posture, you know,
Yeah.
that we all have, but I'm
Yep.
always kind of looking down. So on this one walk, I decided I was going to look up,
Mm.
and I got to tell you, it's pretty beautiful up there.
Yeah. Right.
Um, like the trees right now are just a beautiful shade of green. The sky was blue. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
really beautiful things when I
Mm.
look up. Um,
Yeah.
and honestly, looking up made me feel pretty small. Um,
Yeah.
and some of that feeling small is what helped me kind of in that moment realize like, okay, maybe this overwhelm, like maybe I can slow down just a little bit. I'm pretty small, you know?
Yeah. My
Um,
problems might not be as major as I think they are,
yeah,
or my struggle isn't as bad as,
yeah.
or it's just perspective sometimes. Yeah.
It's perspective. So I that's kind of my motto this spring is
I like it.
I'm gonna look up. Like
Look up.
that's not a like that's a literal. You
Yeah.
know, that's not a
Yeah.
metaphor.
Yep.
I'm literally looking at the trees.
I like it. Yeah.
So I don't know, it's pretty beautiful up there at tree level.
That's good. That's wise.
I don't know. That feels like a place to end.
Yeah, I think so
Not
too.
because it's wise, but because it's
Well, no,
the end.
I think it's really solid. How if people want to go on a journey and explore what moving from overwhelm and exhaustion might look like, how can they do that?
Yeah, the easiest way is to click on the link in the show notes for this episode. There's
Mm,
a link to our website. If you don't click the link, the website is brimstonecoachinggroup.com. And right on the homepage, there's a button that says schedule your free consultation. That is a way to spend just a little bit of time with us, no cost, no charge, to see if Chris or I might be a good fit for you in the journey you're wanting to set out on. We would love to do that. We'd love to take a few minutes and just connect and just be really honest and say,
yeah,
hey, is what you're wanting to accomplish in your life a good fit for us as coaches and you as a coachee? And then we can go from there. We offer coaching packages one-on-one or for groups, but we would really love the listener to click that free consultation button today.
yeah, we would. Sounds good. Thanks for sharing that and for the conversation today, Kurt.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. It's always good, man.